Goody will drive. Left-handed flush over the top of Kepning.
Pullback, step back three. Bottom!
Mavericks, it's short. Tip back in. Weaver got it. Yes!
Neely, the handoff. Jones for the tie.
Oh, he's fouled and one.
Presents itself is what you got to take. You can't.
It's knocked away. Still loose. Doherty the heave. Oh, my God.
Welcome to the Straight Outta WAC podcast.
What's up, everybody? It is Monday night, late here in Utah. Sorry, I was having technical difficulties. I think my other laptop decided to crap out. I'll have to figure that out. Excuse my language, but sheesh, trying to get all that set up. And, I've been getting messages. There may be an opening in the WAC for 2024-25. I am trying to confirm right now. But according to coaching changes, I'll add Daryl in here. According to coaching changes on Twitter, I don't have the tweet because they're protected and I don't follow them. I've just had the screenshot sent to me. There may be an opening in the WAC. I won't go into it because I haven't confirmed it yet. But I've been hit up by a few people about it, so we'll see what happens. That may be what happens when you don't make the WAC tournament. So I don't know. That probably gives you all a clue of where this may be. Like I said, I don't want to – I've given it away. So according to coaching changes, UTRGV will be looking for a new head coach. That's what they've said. I'm trying to confirm it. The Vaqueros had a rough ending to the 2023-24 season, down to 7 scholarship players. Didn't make the WAC tournament this year, finished in dead last in the WAC standings. So there may be a new coach in Edinburgh, South Texas. Yeah, pretty crazy. Adam, what's up, guys? Yeah, good to see you, Adam. Thanks for tuning in. Ray, yeah, late news, and I've been getting hit up with messages all over the place. So, yeah. Let's see. B, did the WAC put you all up in hotels? How to travel? Out of pocket, buddy. Out of pocket. A lot of it. So, both Daryl and I can attest to that. So I hope I'm not on mute. I'm not on mute, am I, Daryl?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. All right. And then Jason Waters. Not surprising, unfortunately. So that's what's been going on over the last 25 minutes or so. We were supposed to start this at 8:30. Like I said, my computer kind of, I don't know, it stopped working the right way since I got back from WAC Vegas. And then this news started coming in, getting messages all over the place about it. So, fun show tonight. We are going to talk about GCU's match, or we're going to recap a little bit of WAC Vegas. Then we're going to get to GCU's matchup against St. Mary's that happened, tips off on Friday as a 12 seed against the 5 seed Gales. Then we're going to talk about CBU staying in LA to take on UCLA as a 15 seed. That kind of tells you what people think of women's basketball in the Western Athletic Conference. 28-3, and they get a 15 seed. So, yeah. And then we're gonna kind of talk about what was the other thing I said we were going to talk about tonight. I lost it here. I had it. Now I can't remember, guys, but we're going to talk about a lot of things. So let's get to it. Anyways, if you're watching this, I told you I had a little surprise. Okay, so this is going to be a 3-part thing that you have to do. First off, you have to take a screenshot that you're following WAC Hoops Nation. Second off, you have to subscribe to the YouTube stream. I'm going to put that. I can't put it in right now, but you have to subscribe to WAC Hoops Nation on YouTube. Take a screenshot of that. Then you have to DM WAC Hoops Nation with both pictures, and I will send you the link for the WAC Hoops Nation group bracket challenge. Okay? That's the third part. The fourth thing, and this is the best part for all of you that are watching. I know there's quite a few of you that are watching or may watch it sooner or later. The top 2 winners get their rooms paid for at the 2025 WAC tournament at Orleans Arena. So all you have to do is figure out a way to get to Vegas, and you have a room paid for the entire week or the Wednesday through Saturday through Sunday. But yes, we will take care of you. So make sure you do that. Follow through. Remember, follow WAC Hoops Nation, subscribe to the YouTube channel, take screenshots of both, DM WAC Hoops Nation on Twitter, and then I'll send you the password so you fill out your bracket. Top 2 get their rooms paid for at the 2025 WAC tournament at Orleans Arena next year. So be on the lookout. Do that. Get your brackets in. Let's go. Let's get this group going. Okay, guys. Let's see. UTA wrote, Pat, appreciate the work this weekend at the WAC tourney. I know you swore at me in one of your tweets, whoever runs that account. You swore at me in one of those tweets when I said play defense without fouling. I was just being factual, man. UT Arlington's got to play without fouling. But, it was a lot of fun this week. Daryl and I had a lot of fun covering the teams. Even got a shout out from Jared Olson. It's not on this computer. I should have put it on that computer so everybody could see it. But, it was a lot of fun. It was the other tournaments. Where is that, Jason? It was the other postseason tournaments. A couple teams, decided not to play. Other teams are playing tomorrow. ACU and Tarleton men are playing in Stephenville tomorrow. So the women's teams, I don't think there's any women's teams playing a postseason tournament outside of CBU, correct?
Nope, that is correct.
Yeah.
All 3 of our remaining teams opted out or couldn't fill a field.
Yeah. Yeah, the WBI canceled because they didn't have enough teams. WNIT is not the same NIT that the men have, where it's not NCAA sanctioned. So, it's just so GCU and SFA decided not to play in that WNIT because they wanted to be in the NCAA sanctioned tournaments. Probably would have been different if they would have been in the WBIT. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
And the hard part about the WBIT is they take the first 4 out from the NCAA tournament automatically. So your 32 spots go right down to 28, and unless you're among those top 28, you basically got no shot at it.
Yeah. So we'll get to that later on. We're going through all these comments. What a game with the Lopes at the end of the game. Yeah, it was a good game. The ending just wasn't what you would want in a championship game. I mean, although I got to say, the accuracy on that throw, I you don't see that. Like, I'm not trying to make light of it, but I am making light of it because that throw was pretty spot on. So, let's see. What's good, man? Glad I got to see you in Las Vegas. Yes, for sure, David. It's always good. I haven't been to this restaurant called Alpha Q. I will have to check it out next year. Obviously, I'm not going to Vegas anytime soon. Logan, a little simpler than Super Bowl DoorDash challenge. Yes, it is. So remember, follow WAC Hoops Nation. Subscribe to the WAC Hoops Nation YouTube page. Take screenshots. Send me a DM on the WAC Hoops Nation Twitter page with both screenshots. I'll give you the link for the WAC Hoops Nation Bracket Challenge group. And then the top 2 winners get their rooms paid for at WAC Vegas. We'll just keep doing that. Cole, you're making it up to Spokane. Unfortunately not. I can't take 2 weeks away from my family. I would love to. If they were in Salt Lake, it'd be a lot easier to justify. But can't take 2 weeks away on the road from my family. But there will be a couple guys that will be representing WAC Hoops Nation up there. The guys that run the Win the WAC podcast 2.0. So Zach Cecil, Connor Koenig, and their other buddy are going to be up there under the WAC Hoops Nation brand, doing their thing, podcasting, bringing us content and stuff like that. So looking forward to that. Let's see. Yeah, UTA freshman year. Is that anything new? Kendall Weaver did it last year. He did it late too. So very interesting to see. I don't think Mekhi Williams had a big year, and that's the thing. Mid-majors are kind of the stepping stone for the power conferences. They'll probably get paid to go somewhere on the bigger stage. May not play as much. So we'll see what happens. He's a good guard, quick guard. Struggled a little bit in the WAC championship game. I think the moment got a little too big for him at times. So very interested to see where he lands up. let's see. Keely Vining going to pitch for UT after the baseball coach saw the actually as a throw. That's a great comment. That really is. I would tend to agree because that was it. He shouldn't have done it. We'll say that. But like the fact that it hit where he was throwing it, like, yeah. Anyways, we had a great time in Vegas. Mid majors are a farm system for the yes, they are. We've seen that.
It's the sad truth.
It really is, and we're gonna see. I would probably say 80% of the WAC players will get into the transfer portal in the next week or so. I'm willing to bet that. Just sad. It really is sad. It's hard to. And here's the thing, guys. I'm not going to tweet about him. I'm not going to say anything about him because I'm like John Fanta, who tweeted out earlier. I am not a fan of the fact that the portal is open now, and it shouldn't be open for another 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks at least, till the NCAA championship is over. I think it's very wrong that it's open now, but that's the NCAA for you. They don't make logical decisions. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Let's see. Logan, I with the NIT being different this year, which smaller teams were left out that shouldn't have? Sam Houston, that's the first one I'll say. Sam Houston right there. They won Conference USA, won the regular season title, got to the semifinals. You know, I'm going to say Sam Houston was one of those teams that should have been in the NIT for sure. For sure. Other than that, I don't really think about anything else, but I haven't really been paying attention to those. I only pay attention to really the WAC in terms of that. I would have, Tarleton's not eligible for the NIT. It would have been cool maybe to see UT Arlington get an invite to that maybe, but they wouldn't have, just based off of some losses that they had during the regular season. So, but Sam Houston should have been in the NIT easily. Portal should be closed until after. Yes, it should be 100%. I won't swear at you again. Tempers run hot. I love you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome. You can swear at me anytime you want. GCU fans think I hate them. So, it runs both ways at times. I get all the heat, right, Daryl? Like I get all the heat.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's fantastic. That means you're following and you're paying attention. That's what we want, right? Tony with the amen. I'm assuming that's on the fact that the portal should be closed until after the NCAA title game. That's just it's not right because remember FAU got to the Final Four last year and their coach literally admitted to the fact that his players were getting talked to by other teams while they were still in the NCAA tournament.
Which is insanity.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That should not be happening. That should not be happening at all. I don't think he lost any of them either. I think maybe he lost one or two, but the rest of them stayed there, and they got a net large bid as probably a higher seed than they probably should have. But that's my own opinion. What do you think about Power 5 teams refusing the NIT? I don't know. I think refusing the NIT, that's pretty sad. Like that's a national tournament. Like that's a popular tournament. But with the transfer portal open now, some of those guys are probably gone that they would be counting on. So maybe it's not that they're refusing because they don't want to play in it. Maybe they're refusing because they know they're losing all their guys into the transfer portal. Or losing too many guys to it so they can't field the team. That could be a logical thing, right, Daryl?
That definitely could be a thing. And you also have to look at the fact that, like you said earlier today, maybe teams that had their heart set on the NCAA tournament or bust, just lost the fight to want to compete.
Yep, 100%.
100%.
We'll
get into that a little bit later with our teams.
Well, and I said it earlier, I think that if Power 5 conference teams don't want to go, well, give it to the AQs that didn't win their conference tournament from the mid-majors. Give it to the Sam Houstons. Give it to, I don't know if they take it being second fiddle, but still take it. Like, give them the opportunity to play in it, right? Like, that's where that's got to, I don't know. I could go on and rant you guys about this. I don't want to. I really don't want to. Mikey, I know you don't hate us. I know. I'm glad you do. Some people still think that I do. Yeah, good times. Let's see. Matt Adkins, injuries portal, disappointing season end equals declining invites. 100%. I agree with you right there. 100%. That could play a lot into it. So, yeah. So let's get talking about this WAC Vegas since we have been rambling on here for the first 15 minutes about all this stuff. Thank you for the comments, everybody. Remember, if you're watching, we have a WAC Hoops Nation bracket challenge group going. It is a private group because there's a couple of things you have to do. First, you have to be following WAC Hoops Nation. Second, you have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel, the WAC Hoops Nation YouTube channel. And third, you have to take a screenshot of both your following and your subscription and send them to me in a DM. I hope my DMs blow up. I really do. Send them to me in a DM, and then I'll send you the link for the group. And you can join and submit your bracket. The top 2 finishers in the bracket challenge group, the WAC Hoops Nation bracket challenge group, get their rooms paid for from Wednesday to Sunday at next year's WAC tournament or Orleans Arena. So get submitting. Let's go. Let's get it going. Here's one that we can talk about at WAC Vegas. I wish Utah Tech would have shown a better Adam, I'm going to disagree with you. And I'm going to disagree with you because playing with 7 players, no Maddie or Macy Warren, no Emily Isaacson, no Amber Karchner. I think they played their hearts out. I'm not going to lie. I think they played up to what they could do with what they had. Like, I just think they didn't have the legs late, and that's what got to them because their starters played almost 38 minutes of that ball game.
Look at their minutes usages across the year. That's basically what they've been doing all year. Yeah. So that kind of usage is going to catch up with you at some point, especially when you're playing. Well, that was their first game off the bye, but
still. But I mean, you get an up and down game. You have to come back at some point, and you're trying to do all you can to stay within reach. It's just you run out of gas when you play that much, right? And it's not like Brianna Gillen's been healthy all year. It's not like Maggie McCord's been healthy all year. Like, these Utah Tech women, if they would have been at full strength, I think they could have made a run in the tournament. But they were depleted. So I think they played the as good a game as they could have. It's just UT Arlington was playing a little bit better that day.
Yeah, they were right there. They gave themselves a shot in the fourth quarter. All as shorthanded as they were, just one long fourth run was the difference between whoever moved on out of that game.
Yeah, yep.
And even if they did get through UTA, I don't know that a shorthanded Utah Tech team would have gotten through CBU the next day.
Somebody asked this question: will Ty and Grant Foster stay at GCU for his remaining eligibility or transfer a 4th time? I don't know. I can't answer that. My guess is if they make a run to maybe the Sweet 16, which is very possible with the bracket that they have, I think if he shows out in the NCAA tournament, I think he could be draft worthy with what he's done this year. I really do. I think he's a special player. He's got the size. He knows how to attack the basket. He can knock down perimeter shots. He rebounds. He defends. He's the whole package. So I think if they make a little bit of a run to get to maybe the second weekend, he could be draft worthy. I don't know that he'll transfer a 4th time. Maybe he will. It depends on the transfer rules, right, guys? But maybe. I'll say maybe he transfers. Maybe he doesn't. I think the likelihood is, like I said, if they make a run, Tyne will become draft worthy. That's my honest opinion. To answer your question about our bracket challenge, no, you do not have to sleep in the same. No, you will not sleep in the same bed with me. That is it. No, don't say that. Don't ask that again. That's just no. You'll get your own rooms. Whoever wins that bracket challenge. So, yeah. So WAC Vegas. First night of the tournament was pretty interesting. Tarleton getting their first ever win on the women's side with Bill Brock, their team knocking off ACU. It was another year where ACU, both the men and the women, went home on the first day. the ACU men in a little bit more dramatic fashion than the women. UT Arlington beat Southern Utah, which wasn't surprising. Southern Utah has been banged up by injuries all season long. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was a ton of fun this week.
Yeah, that
CBU snapping that skid to beat Utah Valley in that 8-5 game. Like,
that was huge
yeah,
for the I have to say that was huge for Rick Croy and company. Getting off that snide. And even though they lost the next night in pretty explosive fashion to Seattle, just getting one win in Vegas for Rick Croy and company, I think that's going to set the tone for some good things going forward.
Yeah, it was a good win for them. They won at Michelob Ultra Arena last year before losing in the second round. Yeah, it was a good run for the Lancers to get some play there at Orleans Arena. Utah Valley still struggles at Orleans Arena. Man.
And what must ACU
and then day
think,
two was kind of
Kyle, what must ACU think of Orleans Arena at this point? You know, the women haven't won in 3 tries, and the men losing on that buzzer beater to SF. I must think of it as a house of horrors.
Yeah, I mean, well, they both lost at Michelob Ultra Arena last year. So they both lose at Orleans Arena this year. The men, got to the WAC tournament championship game in the first year in the WAC. So got to get over that hump sometime, right? Like, got to get over that hump. Maybe it's the curse of Vegas or something. So let's go to a couple more comments here. Is Bryce, let's see, it's not showing. There it is. Is Bryce Drew possibly out coaching for a bigger school? Maybe not. He's already been at Vanderbilt. Maybe, but I think he likes it at GCU. There's not as much pressure as being at a Power 5, but there's still the money that Power 5s have. So there's still the NIL in place. Why not stay at a school where you could just dominate and go to the NCAA tournament every year? So that's just my thought. I don't
have to think about it.
Never say never, though, Logan. Never say never.
And you have to think, too, some people who have experienced Power 5 level maybe just aren't happy at the Power 5 level. They're perfectly happy in coaching mid-majors at a mid-major for the rest of their career. You got to take that part into account, too. I mean, you're right, Kyle. The expectations at GCU are about the same as most Power 5s, but without the Power 5 stresses and travel and all those things.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Very interesting to see. Let's go to this other question. CBU with upset. Yep, it was a great upset for the Lancers. In overtime, too. They kind of gave it away. They should have won in regulation, but they gave it away. Were forced to go to overtime and then dominated in the overtime period. So, good win for the Lancers. Ray Silva has a question for you, Daryl. Aside from injuries, what will it take for UTRGV women basketball to be more competitive next season? Do they find a way to keep Dorsey and Holloman? I want to throw one answer out with regard to I bet Jada Holloman's gone. Her brother, who was at UTRGV last year, that transferred to UTSA, is now back in the portal after a year at UTSA. I'm going to say Jada Holloman transfers. I really believe that.
When it comes to Dorsey,
kind of get that feeling from her dad. But
when it comes to Dorsey, I don't even know if she has eligibility left at this point. But
yeah, she may be done because she's been around for a few years.
Yeah, but UTRGV is going to have to add some. First of all, we have to see UTRGV fully healthy. Secondly, I think Charlotte O'Keefe did some pretty good things this year. I was pretty impressed with her game. You said Jada Holloman. I was impressed. Ariana Sturdivant did some pretty good things. They're gonna have to add some scoring depth behind that starting group, because I think UTRGV was towards the bottom of the conference in total offense. And then I know Lane Lord likes to schedule tough, but maybe dial back that strength of schedule just a wee little bit so that you can get some wins coming into conference play and feel good about yourselves.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to schedule tough with that seeding system. You have to schedule tough.
But not, the Power 5. Like, get, your mid-major top 25 teams, but not your Texases and your Texas Techs and your SEC
Well, the
schools.
Texas game is
Texas I didn't mind.
They're trying to get more people to games, so they bring Texas down because they have a Texas following in Edinburgh and South Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
So there's a lot of Longhorn fans down in the valley, so that's why they do that.
But give yourself games in the non-con where you have a chance to win. I mean, if you look at the beginning of their schedule, they were actually pretty competitive at the beginning. I mean, most of their games were within a handful of points, 10 points, and that was with a shorthanded roster. So for the Vaqueros, I think the biggest thing is going to be get healthy, add some firepower offensively. Obviously, I don't know that the Vaqueros ever recovered from Sarah Brashears entering the portal. I think that was one of their bigger portal losses in the last few years.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see who landed.
So I got told by somebody who's close to UTRGV that they think it's a rumor about Matt Figure. So, very interested to see if it gets confirmed by others. But yeah, very interested to see that. Sorry, Daryl, but yeah, Ray. I think Daryl's got it right. We got to see them fully healthy for a season. What can Landlord do with a full roster? Excuse me. Let's see. Zaxton, my boy, I'm so happy that you're following us, that you're watching. Speaking of CBU, how do you think they're going to fare against the Bruins? The CBU women,
they're at a disadvantage at every position on the
say.
floor. They're going to have to shoot threes well to even stay in the building.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Size kills the Lancers.
I mean, look at the WAC championship.
If they shoot it like they can be within any way. They could compete, but it's just a matter of can they shoot. We saw in that WAC tournament championship game they struggled from the 3-point line until late in the fourth quarter when they hit back-to-back threes to give them a lead. So, man, we'll see what happens.
I want to go back to your post depth thing. Look at the field day Kirsten Harden basically had. I know Kinsley Barrington and the rest of the post defenders tried their best down there, and every WAC team's post defenders have tried their best down there. But boy, howdy, Kirsten in that championship game was possessed.
Yeah.
And if that's a mid-major post player, imagine the issues the Lancers are going to have trying to handle 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" down there.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But, they run the floor better than a lot of teams in the country. And I think if they shoot it, they can stay close. I don't know that they're going to win it. I really don't. They got the fact that they're 28-3, got a 15 seed. They have a win over Middle Tennessee. No, they didn't play Middle Tennessee,
Portland.
Right? That was GCU.
That was GCU. They have a win over Portland.
Yeah, Portland's in the NCAA tournament because they upset Gonzaga. So it's just unfortunate that the seed they got, like maybe a 13 or 14 at least, but like the fact they got a 15, I think it says maybe they play with a chip on their shoulder. I just don't know.
Maybe. I was talking to Megan Gower from Her Hoop Stats on Twitter the other day when the draw came out. Her explanation was CBU was hurt by their net of 120, and then that loss to Utah Valley really basically stifled any chance.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, they're not a 15 seed. They're not a 15 seed. I don't care that one loss should not dictate whether or not you're a 15 seed or 14, 13. That's crazy to me, especially considering they've won like 9 in a row since that game. Like, come on, guys. And they're playing without a couple. They were playing without Chloe Lemon. Who's the backup for Kinsley Barrington?
They were playing without Grace Schmidt that night. Chloe Lemon.
Well, I'm not worried about Grace Schmidt. She didn't play almost the whole season. So Chloe Lemon, and then there was Emily Sewell.
Emily Sewell
didn't play in that game either. So they're missing 2 key pieces that played in the WAC tournament championship that have played in a few games since then. And Emily Sewell would have given them a backup because Kinsley Barrington was in foul trouble that whole night. So I that's why I say that you can't look at those kind of things. You have to look at like why they lost the game, because they were missing key players and they played without their one of their best players all season long. Like,
you have to
the
wonder
fact
if
that they're still 28-3, they won the WAC regular season title outright. They won the WAC tournament. Like, I'm sorry, they should not be a 15 seed. They should be a 14 or 13 seed. Period. That I'm not going to go away from that, regardless of whatever any kind of bracketologist tells me. Like, if you watch this team, they are not a 15 seed.
Oh, I agree with you.
So,
like Charlie Cream had them as a 13 most of the week.
I just
in Spokane.
It blows my mind. So,
but I have to wonder if the committee even looked at the data sheets from that
Utah
Valley game.
They don't.
When it comes to mid majors, they don't.
Yeah, they just assume the loss. So yeah. Let's see. Adam, it depends on who you ask. What does the WAC consider with other conferences? It's a mid-major. That's what it is. So that's what we'll go with. It's on the men's side. I think it's in the top 7 among mid-majors. I think it's 7th or so. The women's is a little bit lower than that.
Let's put it this way: the Big West was ranked above us in the last data I was.
Well, that's because you got CBU, GCU, SFA
Utah
and
Tech,
UT Arlington
and UTA.
That's what I'm saying. UT Arlington. They're those 4 teams. Well, and Utah Tech was there, so 5. So 7 of the other, or 6 of the 11 teams all have losing records, and all of this, like the bottom 5, were like really bad. So that hurts. That hurts a lot on the women's side. What did GCU do to get that many fans to Vegas? Bust them there. The students, they bust there. Yes, that's what they did. So I believe they paid a $20 ticket to get on the bus to bus them there. At least I saw a mom tweet about that. That her kid had to pay $20 to get on the bus. So that's why they had so many fans. Dorsey has eligibility 2 years at Tarleton with COVID year, and now 2 with you. Okay, well, yeah, so she still has the COVID year left, it looks like, Daryl. So
okay, so yeah, if she has the COVID year left, they have to build around her in the off season.
If she stays.
If she stays, yes.
So we'll see, because she didn't start down the stretch. She wasn't a starter.
No, she didn't.
So we'll see if that got to her a little bit. But yeah, that's where we'll leave that. Hard to tell because of Outta the transport. Anyway, too early. 24. No, I'm not even going to go there right now. I can't. I really can't, because I don't know who's coming and going and these way too early things. They don't even take that into account. They think they know who's coming and going, but they don't. So not going to touch it. With Kai Williams, 2nd year in a row, losing the WAC freshman year. Yep. And it all came from UT Arlington. So if you're a freshman and you want to be the WAC freshman of the year, so you get a bigger NIL deal or get a bigger paycheck, go to UT Arlington as a freshman. Seems they have something going with WAC freshman of the year. So, let's get back to WAC Vegas for a little bit. I keep getting sidetracked. Man, the UT Arlington Lady Mavs, Sharika Wright's crew had a fun run to the semifinals. The SFA women had their run to the WAC tournament championship. That was a lot of fun. Man, the GCU women just can't get over the hump, to get that title.
And it was a tough end to the regular season too. So that's 3 losses to the top half of the conference by a combined about 15 points.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then, Leonard Bishop was the only one in the post-game press conference after the championship game for SFA. I mean, that can't even imagine what those girls were going through, considering I really feel like they had that game up until about the final minute and a half, 90 seconds to go or so, when those back-to-back threes were just killer. Nuke Bosch Duran and Nene Calhoun hit those 3-pointers, which that was the only 3-pointer Nene Calhoun hit all day, after being in such struggle. for that 75-74 win, man. That was a great ball game. SFA had a special run this year. So
and it was a year where I think they did a lot better than people thought they would do.
100 not just people, us. We didn't think they were going to do as well. We 100% agree with Leonard Bishop's assessment in that post-game presser.
Absolutely.
That we doubted them.
No, I even said it to somebody one of the days we were there. I was like, I'll be the first to admit we completely misjudged this SFA team and what he brought in and what was
Although I did pick the Lady Jacks to win the WAC tournament. So give me some credit there. I had faith in them.
Shall we just go ahead and jump into the postseason women's opt-outs or no?
No. We're gonna talk a little bit about GCU. We're gonna come back in 30 seconds. I gotta take a little break. My throat is burning because we have talked now for 36 minutes. So we're gonna take a little break for 30 seconds. Be right back. All right, guys, we're back. Just want to remind you all that if you're paying attention, we have a little contest. We got a WAC Hoops Nation bracket challenge going. What you have to do, you have to be following WAC Hoops Nation. Take a screenshot of that. You have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel, the WAC Hoops Nation YouTube channel. Take a screenshot of that. DM me with those screenshots, and I will send you the link to our private group. The top 2 winners get their rooms paid for at Orleans Arena next year for the 2025 WAC tournament. Write that down, what you need to do, get those in. Obviously, it'll close by a certain time. So get those in. I expect a lot of DMs when I get off this live stream as you get ready for the WAC Hoops Nation bracket challenge. Anyways, let's talk about this GCU matchup. 12 seed Lopes take on the 5 seed St. Mary's Gales. Both teams won their conference tournament titles at the Orleans Arena this week. Pretty crazy. St. Mary's did it on Tuesday. GCU did it on Saturday. This is going to be an interesting matchup. My biggest thing that I'm looking at, how does GCU handle 6'11" center Mitchell Saxon, who is a Seattle, Washington native, so he's going to probably have a lot of people there. That's my only concern. I think the guards will be fine for GCU. I think the depth is fine for GCU. It's just how are they going to handle St. Mary's big man, because he was really good against Gonzaga in that WCC title game. And Duke Brennan's good. He doesn't necessarily have the same size. So I am so pumped for this match because I think it's similar to that New Mexico State UConn matchup 2 years ago when the Aggies beat UConn in that 12-5 matchup. I was going over it with Kyle Cruz. We were sitting in TGI Fridays on Saturday night, just talking, and I pointed this out to him. Okay, so that New Mexico State team had Teddy Allen. Well, Grand Canyon has Ty and Grant Foster. Boom, the 2 leading scorers, right? The WAC Players of the Year. Right? That New Mexico State team had Jabari Rice. Well, Grand Canyon has Ray Harrison. Right? That New Mexico State team had Johnny McCants. Well, GCU has Gabe McLaughlin. Right? So they have the same pieces, similar to UConn having the same pieces, some good guards, a dominant big man. I think this is such a good matchup for the Lopes. Like, I really do. I don't know any other way to put it. And it wasn't like St. Mary's was like dominant in the WCC championship. They pulled away late, but I really like this matchup for GCU, Daryl. Like, I'm not going to lie.
I mean, games in the NCAA tournament often come down to second chance points and rebounding. So that's where I'm looking is rebound margin, especially with a 6'11" center for St. Mary's. In that matchup, I'm looking at rebounding margin as my biggest stat. I haven't seen St. Mary's enough to know their team or their personnel well enough to comment on that matchup. It's like I was telling my dad the other week. I barely see games outside of the WAC, so
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Very interesting to see what happens. I think it's a great match, and there's going to be a lot of lopes up there, a lot of havocs, so forth. Let's see, Jason Luke War can be the difference. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why he made the alternate team, and he's been really good off the bench down the stretch for the lopes, like really good. Bracket competition rules should be you have to have GCU in the Sweet 16. Ha! Yes, Cole. That's funny. But it was good to meet you at the Nike store at the Forum Shops on Saturday before the game. That was pretty cool. Always good to meet fans and visit with them. But yeah, I think Luke War can be a difference maker. I think it's such a good matchup. I'm going to say that right now. I think it's a good matchup. I am picking GCU to beat St. Mary's 12-5 upset. Zaxton, I think Foster and McLaughlin are going to put one of the best showings from that. Yes, 100%. I think this is Ty and Grant Foster's coming. He's had a coming out party all season, right? This is the big coming out party, okay? Because he didn't perform real well in the WAC tournament championship. Even Bryce Drew gave him a hard time about making his free throws in the post-game presser, a little jokingly, but I think this is coming out for Ty and Grant Foster. I really do. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So they play Friday, tip-off Friday. And, Mikey, St. Mary's likes to play really slow, which could hurt. It could, but it's not like GCU likes to play a lot of transition. But they got Colin Moore, who defends and can cause problems. He had a bunch of steals when it looked like UTA was going to get out in transition. I like GCU to beat St. Mary's. I know UTA fans aren't fans. Luke Ward's a dude. UTA wrote, that's a good comment. Oh, Darth Dad, I know. Without WAC ref scales, no. St. Mary's is not winning by 12 on Friday. Not going to lie. They're not going to win by 12. They're just not. So I'm picking GCU to win. I can't remember who their second round matchup would be. I have to go back to I'm not logged in there. I was trying to see if I could find my bracket. I already picked my bracket for all those of you that are wondering. I think it's got to log me in here. Let's see if it is. But what do you think, Daryl? Since you saw GCU in person this week.
I mean, I like their chances of getting one win. I'd have to see who's on that other side to know about two. I haven't even looked at men's brackets yet. I spent last night trying to figure out this whole WNIT situation, WBI situation.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, you guys. If you know it, if you've seen the bracket, I've seen the bracket. I just can't remember. Let's see.
Kyle, was that game 1 in Spokane on Friday or game 2?
I'm not quite sure, actually, to be honest with you. I don't know that they put out the time yet. Let's see. So I have picked Grand. They play in the late game, Daryl. 8:05. It's the last game of the night there in Spokane. And they will get either Alabama or Charleston in the second round. And Alabama doesn't play any defense, and Charleston I don't think has the dues to keep up with GCU. So
I could see them getting through either one of those.
I'm picking them to go. For all you GCU fans that are watching this and think I hate GCU, I just picked your team to go to the Sweet 16. So just know that I don't hate your school. Am I jealous of it because I'm a Utah Valley guy? Because you get these massive fan bases that come to the WAC tournament. You have one of the best atmospheres in college basketball. You have a ton of money that you can spend on NIL that nobody else in the WAC has. Of course, I'm jealous, and so yeah, I may get a little bitter at times because of that. But I don't hate GCU. So I want you all to know that I don't hate GCU. I'm picking them to go to Sweet 16, Daryl. Period. Let's see some comments here. Headed to Spokane. St. Mary's has great size in the paint. A lot to overcome there. Agreed. Duke Brennan's got to stay out of foul trouble because they don't really have anybody to back him up. But the length of Luke War and Tyron Grant Foster, the athleticism of Gabe, he had a couple big buckets in the second. He hit a three-pointer, and then he had 2 offensive boards, one of his own accord, and a putback in that second half. So maybe he's come out of his funk a little bit. I really like GCU in this matchup. I really do. One of the WAC coaches said they got dogs, on that GCU squad, and they do. And I think that's what's going to be the difference. Bama, Charleston, Bama, Charleston, Bama, Charleston. Last game of the first round. Yep, Mikey, they are. Just noticing that right now. So GCU going to Sweet 16, according to my bracket. Now, remember, if you want to get in the WAC Hoops Nation bracket challenge, follow WAC Hoops Nation, take a screenshot, subscribe to the YouTube channel, take a screenshot, send me a DM with both screenshots. I'll send you the link to the group. And the top 2 finishers in the bracket challenge get their rooms paid for at the 2025 WAC tournament at Orleans Arena. So get those brackets in. All right, Daryl. No, we got Tarleton and ACU men are playing in the CIT, which is a very weird bracket. I don't even know if they're going to play each other if they win. That'd be very awkward. But there was a few teams that turned down the CIT this year. Actually, a lot of teams. They didn't want to play in it. So it's a very weird bracket. Seattle U is in the CBI. I really hope they make a run. I think it would be awesome to see Cam Tyson make that run. I think he can too. The Redhawks are good. Like they had GCU on the ropes for about 35 minutes on Friday night. So I can see that. UT Arlington, they opted out not to play in a postseason tournament. Utah Valley is not going to play in a postseason tournament. SFA is not going to play in a postseason tournament. So there are 4 men's teams: GCU, Tarleton, ACU, and Seattle U. So according to Jason, they're supposed to play Wednesday if they both win. Okay, cool. So they're going to play each other again. That's going to be awfully strange. Hopefully they both win, so at least they'll give the WAC a couple postseason wins.
Both of those guys, Brett Tanner and Joseph Jones, both had to be chuckling when they saw the.
They probably knew it was going to happen with the way it was set up and with the fact that teams are opting out of these postseason tournaments. I would bet they both saw it. So we'll see what happens there. But it's cool that Tarleton gets to host the postseason game. They're still not eligible for the NIT anyways. So
that's big.
What's that?
And that's big for the Texans, and considering they're building that new event center, could be the last postseason competition that Wisdom Gym sees.
Yep, that's a good point. So we're going to talk about the women now. CBU, like we said, they take on their 15 seed. They head over to Pauley Pavilion to take on 2 seed UCLA. There's a huge size advantage for the Bruins. It's not a favorable matchup at all, except that the Lancers get to stay in LA, stay in that area. I'm still going to stick it out there. I don't think CBU is a 15 seed. They're so much better than a 15 seed. It kind of reminds me, it makes me wonder that 2020-21 squad that went undefeated through the regular season, won the WAC tournament. If they had been eligible for the NCAA tournament,
would they have gotten?
Would they have gotten a better seed? I don't think so.
No.
I just think that's the way that the committee on the women's side looks at mid-majors.
The strengths of schedules are almost identical. Let's see, the 21 team neither team had a Power 5 game. I'm trying to remember the strength of schedule from that year.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. It is what it is.
Even I made the argument of 5 WNIT wins, and that fell deaf on the ears of the bracketology folks.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't play. Jared's team didn't play one Power 5 conference or Power Conference team this year, so that hurts.
And the best win, Portland, became a good win when they won the WCC. Otherwise, you really wouldn't call that a best win non-con.
Yeah, I mean, they had a great season. I just don't playing not playing a power conference team hurts. But they play Saturday on ESPN2 against number 2 seed UCLA. So
that is the late game at Pauley Pavilion, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah.
6:30 Pacific time. If the rest of y'all are around the country are going to stay up for it, I'm sure the Lancers would appreciate your support all around WAC Hoops land.
Yeah. So Jared Olson, since they became eligible, since they jumped up to Division 1, he had 18 wins in 2018-19, 16 wins 2019-20, but they won 26, 23, 22, and now 28.
Yeah.
So, like I've told other people, all Jared Olson does is win, 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 no matter what. And I will stick to that DJ Khalid song every day of the week and twice on Sunday for Jared Olson. And thank you for the huge shout out on Saturday after your championship run.
We really do appreciate that.
We really appreciate you showing that support. It's so awesome to have a coach and all the coaches do that. Like, it's the great support from the coaches, from the administrators, from the WAC, for everything. It's just a huge blessing. So we're grateful to bring the coverage and hope everybody can continue to support WAC Hoops Nation as we go forward. Well, guys, I think we've gotten to that end of the night type thing. It is now 9:45 here in Utah. GCU tips off on Friday night against 5 seed St. Mary's. CBU women tip off Saturday against 2 seed UCLA in their first ever trip to the NCAA tournament. Tarleton and ACU play in the CIT on Tuesday, and if they both win at Wisdom Gym, then they play each other on Wednesday. Seattle U is in the CBI. Good things happening there. I want to talk about one last thing here. We were going to close this down, but I want to talk about the opt-out stuff. Guys, I know that people don't understand it. Sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense. But like if you're a men's team that gets invited to the CBI, well, you have to pay to play in that, or at least host a game, for one. And two, if you don't want to pay to host a game or pay to get in, you have to agree to come back another time, right? Sign a contract that you agree to come back another time to cover that. So some teams don't want to do that. Some teams like Seattle U, they want to see their guy Cam Tyson get a little more time. And they have a couple seniors too, Alex Schumacher as well. Matthew Levis, Kobe Williamson, all those guys, they want to see him get a few more, a little bit more run, right? On the women's side, there's, like Daryl and I talked about earlier, I think SFA, GCU, if it would have been the WBIT that came calling, that's an NCAA-sponsored tournament instead of, a private tournament like the WNIT is, it probably would have been different. They probably would have played, I would bet. But on the flip side of it, they play in the WNIT, which is not NCAA-sponsored, or they get asked to. That's not their goal. They don't want to. That's not where they want to be, right? GCU had aspirations of winning the WAC this year. It didn't pan out, so now they want to get ready for 2024-25. SFA, I would bet to say that those girls were heartbroken after that loss, and probably didn't want to take the floor this year. And like it's just one of those things. We don't know what goes on behind the closed doors. We don't know what the teams have discussed. We don't know how the players are feeling. So it's hard to assume. Let's respect their decisions to opt out and not play. Unfortunately, UT Arlington Lady Mavs, they were primed to play, but the WBI just didn't get enough teams this year. So they had to cancel it till next year. But kudos to everybody. It's been a fun season. We still got some more games around the WAC. We got at least one more on the women's side. We've got at least 4 on the men's side. So let's maybe see about doing another straight out WAC tomorrow night after the Tarleton and ACU games in Stephenville for the CIT. And we'll go from there. But remember, if you want to be in the WAC Hoops Nation Bracket Challenge, follow WAC Hoops Nation. Make sure you're following us on Twitter or X. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, WAC Hoops Nation YouTube channel. Send me a DM with the screenshots, and I'll send you the link. Top 2 finishers in the bracket challenge get their rooms paid for at WAC Vegas next year, 2025, not next week, next year. On the flip side of it, you guys, if you want to get tickets to any game in March Madness, wherever you're at, if you're going to go to any of the regionals, go to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app and use WAC Hoops Nation in the promo code to get $20 or is it 10? It's $20 off your first purchase, that you purchase tickets on there, $50 or more. So just want to throw that out there as well. Anyways, guys, we're going to do this tomorrow night as well. Like I said, after the Tarleton and ACU games, at least we'll have some games to talk about. I'll maybe even look deeper into the CBU UCLA matchup, as well as maybe see if I get a special guest from GCU on to talk about their matchup on Thursday. So everybody, for Daryl and I, we appreciate all the support. We appreciate all the questions, the comments, the interactions. It was great to see a lot of people at WAC Vegas and to meet some new people. Met Bella Earl's dad there and met a few others. It's always a fantastic time, Daryl. I hope you had fun this year. I know you did. So
it was a blast. Great week. Great to see a lot of folks that you just see on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. Finally meet them in person. We do have some stories from that we are going to work on and get out as we go forward here into the off season. I think we have about 3 or 4 women's stories.
Yeah, we have quite a few stories that are going to be coming down the pipe. Just come post-tourney, postseason type articles about some stories that went along with some teams this year. They're going to be really good. So be on the lookout for those. Daryl's done a good job with those.
And then I have a wrap of the postseason selections and what went on. Last night and into this morning with the opt-out situations coming too.
Yeah, so I went to bed when I got home. 5-hour nights of sleep, nights of sleep with just 5 hours didn't work for me very well. So, yeah, everybody, we appreciate the time. And Robert, I don't know for sure. Let me look it up just before we get this. Let me just check here to see if it will. I don't
IT
think
Campus
so.
Broadcast Cruise, or is it Flow Hoops? Was Flow Hoops.
It's on ESPN Plus. Yes, they will be on ESPN Plus. It looks like. Let me see if ACU's
broadcast crew.
Let's see if ACU's will be as well. I would think so, since it's at Tarleton, but maybe they won't broadcast somebody that's not their team. Let's just check.
Usually, the requirement is you broadcast both games if you're hosting one of those deals. Although in softball, they don't broadcast any.
Okay, so both games are on ESPN Plus tomorrow. Yep, both games are on ESPN Plus tomorrow night. ACU tips off at 8 p.m. Central Time, and Tarleton tips off at 6 p.m. Central Time. So Tarleton's got the first game, ACU's got the second game of the night. They're in Stephenville. So for all you Tarleton fans, enjoy the game tomorrow night. ACU fans, enjoy the game tomorrow night. And we'll see you guys all on Straight Outta WAC tomorrow. Straight Outta WAC after hours tomorrow. We'll talk about those 2 games. Maybe see if we get either Kyle Cruz or Grant Boone on here after both teams win. So have a good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, follow WAC Hoops Digest, screenshot. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, screenshot. DM WAC Hoops Nation with both screenshots. Get into the WAC Hoops Nation Bracket Challenge where you could possibly win a free room at the 2025 WAC tournament. So one last comment here. Thanks, guys. Yep, Adam, appreciate it following us. And everybody, have a good rest of your Monday evening. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And let's get some wins tomorrow night.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Straight Outta WAC podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Remember to follow WAC Hoops Nation on all your favorite social media platforms.